Blood was still drying on my cheek when everything stopped: the shouting, the barking, the threat. A German shepherd named Bear had been ordered to attack me, but instead, he walked up, sat down, and licked my hand. You could hear a pin drop. The K9 handler froze, his mouth half open, and whispered, "That dog has never disobeyed a command." I never thought coming back to my hometown would be more dangerous than any combat zone I served in. But here we were. My name is Captain Elijah Brooks, United States Marine Corps, retired. 15 years in, 5 tours, 3 countries. I survived IEDs, ambushes, betrayal from within, but nothing quite prepared me for what I faced back in Autumn Glen, Michigan. That morning, I had no idea the dog standing in front of me used to be mine. And I definitely didn't know he'd saved my life twice. I had just moved into my new home in a quiet neighborhood that didn't feel all that welcoming. Nice place, thought was story colonial, mature trees, a wide porch that creaked under the weight of old secrets. I used my VA loan, a piece of my hard-earned combat pay, to buy it outright. It wasn't just a house. It was a quiet declaration: I belong here. But some folks didn't see it that way. I caught the looks as I unloaded boxes from my F-150. Eyes behind curtains. Neighbors who'd water their lawns a little longer, watching. Some didn't even bother with subtlety. My mailbox was defaced within the first week. The local hardware store staff got real quiet when I walked in. And then there was Officer Blake Monroe, the kind of cop who smiles with his teeth, but never his eyes. The first time I met Monroe was at the town diner. He walked over, shook my hand way too hard, and said, "We don't get many war heroes moving into Oak Ridge Drive. Hope you ain't planning to stir things up." I laughed it off. Should have known better. Within days, his squad cars started popping up everywhere. I went outside the gym, idling near my mailbox, passing by slow whenever I jogged. Always with that same bored expression, like he was waiting for me to make a move. Then came the night of the community meeting. I stood up, introduced myself. "Good evening. I'm Elijah Brooks. Just moved into Oak Ridge. I recently completed my 5th tour with the Marines and wanted to be part of this community." You'd think I announced I was running for mayor. The silence was thick, and from the front row, someone mumbled, "There goes the neighborhood." Chief Harrison, sitting behind the mic, gave the fakest smile I've ever seen and said, "Thank you for your service, Captain Brooks. We appreciate you." The next day, my tires were slashed. A neighbor, Mr. Crenshaw, who hadn't said a word to me until then, came over just to say, "Maybe it's a sign, son. Some places just don't change." But I didn't leave Fallujah to be pushed off my own porch in Michigan. I started documenting everything. Patrol timings, license plate numbers, interactions. I installed cameras, got a backup drive, and every time Monroe cruised past, I smiled and waved. That seemed to get under his skin more than anything. Then came the raid. They said they had a warrant based on a tip about drugs. Completely fabricated. The paperwork had more holes than a rusted truck bed. And there, at the back of the police caravan, was a K9 unit SUV. I heard the handler shout, "Search." And when the German shepherd trotted into my house, my heart stopped. White patch on his chest. That gait. The tilt of his head. It was Rex. Except now, they called him Bear. He and I had survived Kandahar together. He found explosives buried deep under loose rock, where tech failed. He saved my unit more times than I could count. When I was injured, he stayed by my side until medevac arrived. Then, just like that, he was reassigned, reallocated, they said. I never got to say goodbye. And now here he was, sniffing my living room. The handler shouted again, harsher this time. "Attack." But Bear didn't move. He turned, walked to me, and sat. "He's interfering with the dog," Monroe yelled, hand going to his sidearm. "I haven't moved," I said, hands raised. "Check the tape." But it was too late. Monroe was seeing red. "Handler, release him." The handler hesitated. "Sir, I don't think." "That's an order." Bear was released. He ran at meth and stopped inches from my chest, tail wagging, eyes locked on mine. He pawed my knee gently, just like he used to when I had nightmares in the desert. I whispered the old command. Vector Rue. Bear turned, faced the cops, and growled. A low, protective growl that vibrated through the floor. The handler stumbled back. Monroe shouted. He's controlling department equipment. Arrest him. But two younger officers had already stepped away. One of them muttered, That's not equipment. That's a soldier. The news vans arrived less than 10 minutes later. Turns out, my friend from the local paper, Maya Lynn, had been tipped off. She caught the whole thing. Bear's refusal. Monroe's threats. The illegal warrant. It blew up. National coverage. Military records came out. Bear was never properly discharged. His transfer paperwork? Forged. Turns out, Monroe's brother was a contractor who profited from fast-tracking military K-9s into law enforcement units through a dirty loophole. And Bear wasn't the only one. 6 other dogs. 3 departments. All linked back to the same source. The city tried to settle. Offered me money, an apology, a plaque. Said I could keep Bear if I signed an NDA. I slid the paper back. This isn't about hush money. This is about every vet who comes home expecting peace and gets met with suspicion. It's about every black homeowner treated like an intruder on his own porch. We took it to a public hearing. My testimony. Maya's footage. Bear sitting quietly at my side, wearing his old Marine vest. The council chamber was packed. I looked out and saw faces I hadn't seen before, some angry, some ashamed, many just confused. Chief Harrison stepped down a week later. Monroe was indicted on multiple charges, including conspiracy and perjury. As for Bear, he was officially retired and transferred to me through proper channels, with full honors. We started something called the Sentinel Project named after him. We pair retired service dogs with veterans dealing with PTSD. It's small now, but it's growing. Every Sunday, Bear and I walk through Autumn Glen. Some folks wave now. Some don't. That's fine. I'm not walking for them. I walk for the ones who need to see that standing your ground doesn't mean starting a fight. Sometimes it means not backing down when you're told you don't belong. And sometimes, the one who reminds you who you are, has 4 legs and a memory stronger than any uniform. So let me ask you, if you were in my position, would you have taken the money and walked away? Or would you have stayed and faced down a system with nothing but truth and a dog who remembered? Drop a comment below. I want to hear your story, your loyalty, your line in the sand. Like this video if you believe real heroes don't wear capes. They wear scars. And sometimes they wag their tails. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.